welcome to Justice Losers, the most unqualified podcast exploring irrelevant questions about entertainment, namely movies, TVs, and comics. I'm your host, Preston, joined as always by my delightful co-host,
Matt.
Matt, what should people do?
Like, subscribe, tell a friend, and check out remproductions.net.
.net.
.net.
Don't ask.
Don't ask.
It's .net.
It's .net. We've got posters for sale.
Matt.
Preston.
What you been up to?
Sibelius is fourth. I've been asking around. I've been getting some opinions on that. I finally got you to do your homework.
You got me to do my homework.
Proud. I want to see if Mark messaged me back because I forgot I was going to call him earlier and have him do it. And I forgot. And so I messaged him about 15 minutes ago.
Call him right now.
I don't have service.
Oh.
I can try.
Don't. So yeah, I did the Sibelius. For people who don't know, the homework is to go listen to Sibelius's Symphony No. 4.
Mm-hmm.
At least the first 2 minutes of it.
First 2 minutes of the first movement.
And describe what you see, like what the image or whatever comes into your head. Matt's been talking about it for a while. Do we want to say ours, or do we want to still leave it out there to...
Spoiler alert for Sibelius is fourth.
Yeah, if you don't want your image tainted by ours, and you want to do this, don't listen for the next, I don't know,
It shouldn't be too long here.
timestamp or something, Gage.
Yep.
So me personally, I saw a ship, like an old timey ship, from the 1600s, making a trek across the Atlantic, like a really long trip. And they are hours away from safety, to hit land. But there's a big storm brewing. And so it's kind of this like triumphant, we're almost there, but an ominous, just kind of overarching ominousness. I don't know, it's just the deep brass kind of gave me that ominous, but there was the somewhat optimistic voicings in other things. It was major. I struggle to say major is happy. There's a couple times where it just hits a major chord and it sounds happy, and I'm So that's my thing.
Okay.
What's your thing?
It's like staring a glacier in its face. It's just a big, slow-moving chunk of ice of music.
Yeah.
And I get that image very vividly. My mom, I talked to my parents about it because we're actually reading a book about Sibelius right now and his orchestral works, which is such fun.
Yeah.
But before we started, I played that for them and just asked them what they thought. And my mom came up very similar to me, where it was she pictured a bleak sunrise over sort of a wintry landscape, and it's not a triumphant sunrise; it's more of an ominous one.
Right.
Hannah pictured dark clouds.
Okay.
So we're all kind of in the same sphere here. Emily.
And Mark pictured Teletubbies.
Has he gotten back to me yet? No. Emily, actually, Brendan's wife. Our friend Emily. Told you.
Who, flashback to the one time I've been corrected very firmly on an episode. That was Emily, historian.
Way to go, Emily.
Hey.
She said that I gave her too much pressure by saying, hey, I get really vivid images. And so she was waiting to see what the image was and then just didn't even experience anything.
Aw.
So that was disappointing. My dad basically is it reminds me of the story of the Garden of Eden. So it's oh, here's the guy and then he's got the apple and he gives it to the woman and she eats it. It was really interesting to me that me and Hannah and my mom all were just pure image.
Yeah. But
basically static.
Story.
His was narrative and yours was kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
And
mine had it was an image, but it had history and fear.
Yeah. It has narrative context. I've been thinking about this because my dad does not like Sibelius very much. And it's kind of sad to me because I'm super into Sibelius right now. And I'm thinking that part of his problem might be that he experiences music more narratively than I do.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's something that can be cured or something that not in the sense that it's wrong necessarily, although it's wrong and stupid and you shouldn't do it. But just, I don't know if this is something that you can be cognizant of and work around and broaden your experience. So I'm very curious.
Yeah.
This is kind of why I've been posing this experiment, trying to find out.
Let's talk about the big thing that's going on that was really annoying, that it happened like the day after we recorded the Disney episode, but it was before the Disney episode released, so we looked at a date. Scarlett Johansson is entering the ring with Disney, and I respect her so much for it.
Let's throw down, Disney.
Oh my god, yes.
Yep.
So for people who do not know about this story, Scarlett Johansson, in her contract, had there was an agreement for an exclusive theatrical release of Black Widow, and also her pay for the movie was either fully or mostly dependent on box office ticket sales.
Mm-hmm.
And so with them going to doing a dual streaming and theatrical release, she's out a lot of money. And so because of that contract, she's filing a lawsuit against Disney under one breach of contract. And also there's another claim that I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically the idea that they not only violated like the verbiage of the contract, but violated the point of the contract. I wish I had looked up the name, but there's I think it's Eagle Lawyer is a YouTube lawyer that kind of talks about, just breaks down legal stuff for people. And he was talking about how she actually has a really, really good case for this, because like you can, even though it's not specifically in the contract. Okay, for a different example, someone has a contract with something, but then the company kind of works around it. They kind of find a loophole, or not even really like a loophole to do something within the contract, but just kind of do a thing that's not addressed by the contract that violates the point of the contract in the first place. There is a basis for a lawsuit in that. And so she's also filing for that, I believe. But the Eagle lawyer said that she actually has a better case under that one, but she's going more for the breach of contract. So she's doing that, which has also brought Emma Stone thinking about it for the release of Cruella.
Correct.
And
Which
also Dwayne
happened.
Johnson is thinking about it for Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
So we're getting 3 big dogs. Just, could this be the end of Disney? I hope so.
Boy, that was a clickbaity line if ever I heard one.
So what are your thoughts on this, Matt?
I mean, I think there's no way this is the end of Disney by any extent. Scarlett Johansson's suing them for $50 million, which sounds like a huge chunk of change, but they made
pocket money.
They made like, I don't know,
ballpark 300 million. I don't know how much they made. Oh no, that's
like collectively.
Collectively,
yeah,
like
it was probably like 4 or 5 billion.
Yeah,
or something last year.
Oh, you're saying Disney as a whole? I thought you were talking about Black Widow.
No,
specifically.
Just in general, they make enough money that $50 million is not fun, but like
they could settle out of this pretty easily and just
they threw more money than that at Cruella, and look where that got them.
Yeah. Oof. I think that this is going to. Well, I don't know. I think it's going to be a shakeup for the purpose of how they approach contracts and salaries with actors, because streaming service is such a unknown on how it behaves, and how it's going to behave once the pandemic is settled down. I wish more people knew about this, because a lot of people don't know about this, but that's because Disney publicists are keeping it so hard on the down low. Like there's still news. It's getting attention,
a high profile story. Yeah.
Disney needs to get put in their place. Like just get knocked down a peg.
Yeah.
Kaylin and I were talking about, I was beginning my research for sequels. And I was talking about all the movies, like all the Disney princess movies that have sequels and threequels and stuff like that. And I was like, I tried to look up a list of all the properties under Disney to see if I could find like a little breakdown of it. And it ended up showing me this kind of cool graphic of like the Mickey head, and it's everything that Walt Disney Studios owns. And Marvel, which is huge, is just a part of one of the ears. Like, they're so big.
Yep.
And I want them to not be that big.
Why?
Because they control everything. Copyright. That's one of the big ones I wish I want them to just shut up with copyright.
That is valid.
That is a big one for me. But also just like, it's companies like Walt Disney and also Warner Media and, well, I guess AT&T in general, because they own all that.
Which, put this out here, I believe that Warner Brothers actually renegotiated contracts for actors that were involved on streaming released movies.
Do you know anything beyond that? Just the like anything? What was renegotiations?
Not specifically.
You're not going to quickly find things.
I'm not going to quickly find things, but
that's good.
Yeah, just having some good faith for your people.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that just like it's. I don't want to get too like socialist and like break up to big companies, but also, I mean, go back and listen to our Disney episode. It just like. It makes it harder for people who want to enter the industry because they have such a strong grip on so much. Like, it's getting better. Also, we're not in the industry, so we don't know. Hence, unqualified podcast. Why am I ranting about this so much?
I don't know.
ScarJo just needs to bring him down single-handedly, and I will be so for it.
Yeah. No, it's, I mean, she's entirely in the right here, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Bad renegotiation, and I imagine that she'll... do well with the outcome no matter what it is. We'll see how much this affects their behavior moving forward.
Yeah. Probably not a whole lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, they don't want to bleed that much money every time and that much bad publicity every time they come out with a movie.
Right.
So they'll have to think about how to address streaming and premiere access and those kinds of rights and stuff. But
yeah. I mean, also, I hate doing this. In Disney's defense, the contracts were all set before the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And so, like, but that's the only defense.
Right. And
they
other companies
sucked up the
renegotiate.
delay and put it back. Oh, they actually renegotiated contracts of... Oh! I thought you meant that, like, that Warner was just, like, going forward renegotiating, like, new contracts. They renegotiated established contracts.
Yeah.
Good on them.
I don't have names off the top of my head, but I think Godzilla versus Kong people got renegotiated.
Good on them.
Made a lot of sense because that was streaming theatrical dual release and earlier in the year when things were still a little more shut down.
Hell yeah.
So
good for them.
Not 100% sure about all those details there. It might be totally sketchy, but...
The idea of it is great. So good on them for having the idea thing. Because if they had the idea to screw them over somehow, then maybe not on having the idea. But the vague premise, good on them. Just really painting it with like a fuzzy brush. Good on something somewhere, maybe.
Let's have some general vague positivity.
Yeah. That's what this podcast is about. Hey guys, Preston here. We can only fit about 15 to 20 minutes of this episode on video, so if you want to listen to any more what you've been up to's or news things that we talked about, you can listen to the full audio version. You can find it on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and any other app that you listen to podcasts on. Thanks for watching!